What's up, everyone? Marzi Montazeri here with episode number 12 with my dear friend Kyler Sharp. Kyler, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. I just want to give you all a little bit background on Kyler. Kyler is a Houston poster artist, McGeneral. We should this is what's great about all this. We're going to do this again.
Do as many times as we take.
Hold on a second. First of all, I didn't do this.
What's my line?
This here's the outtakes. It's right there in the middle by 11-inch beard. All right, here we go. What's up, everyone? Marzi Montazeri here with episode number 12 of We'll Name It Later show with great Houston artist and a dear friend of mine, Mr. Kyler Sharp. Kyler, thank you so much for being here.
I appreciate it.
Memphis has decided to join us. Kyler, man, we're going to jump right into it, man. Cool? I'm going to ask you about how long, when did you start playing guitar?
Yesterday.
Kyler,
so
man,
you better look out.
Your art I've been your friend since I've been saying it's always been up high, but man, what you've done and where your career has taken you, it's been absolutely fascinating. And this show is really about me hanging out with my friends, shining a light on them, and you're definitely known in the poster world. But for the folks that want to see this show, thank you for being here again. I want to let's just dive into it. What were you born and raised and all that, and tell me how art was introduced to you.
Well, I was actually born in Oklahoma, a fact that not a lot of people know.
Okay.
My dad worked for Shell Oil, and in the 60s, they shipped him and my mom off to Oklahoma.
Okay.
And so I'm like the only Okie in the family.
Okay, wow. What particular city?
Bartlesville.
I never knew that.
I don't even know Bartlesville because I was back in Houston when I was a year and a half old. So
right.
So from, a year and a half to 10, lived in the Houston area, Clear Lake City, Deer Park, all that. And then we moved to Groves, Texas, which is Port Neches, Port Arthur, Beaumont area. That's where I grew up, went to school, went to college.
Oh, wow, okay.
In Beaumont, Lamar University. And then in 1990, moved back out to Houston.
In 90, you came to Houston. Okay.
Yeah, I came back to Houston in 1990.
So that's East Texas, correct?
Southeast Texas.
Southeast Texas towards Louisiana.
Yeah, right there next door to Louisiana. We were always
That's rich.
Going
That's
over
rich
to
culture. That's interesting culture. That's cool.
A lot of Cajun food.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
So you had a little bit of both worlds, right?
Oh yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. What I mean, you know what? I know one thing for a fact between the two of us. We're devoted Van Halen brothers.
Yeah,
like that's something like one of those invisible things, you just
Totally.
understand about each other, and like you just I don't know. I know you're a rocker at heart.
Absolutely.
What pulled you towards art? Like how young were you? Were you one of those kids that just like got right into it?
Yeah, probably first grade, I think it was. I remember drawing a horse that, I guess it came out pretty good because the attention I got from it, from like my parents and the teachers and everything, was like, hey, this kid can draw, And it kind of just spurs you on, that kind of positive reinforcement, and you just like it. It's something you kind of gravitate towards and do it, just like you with the guitar, so you just do it, and the more you do it, the better you get.
Yeah.
So
for me, it wasn't instantaneously.
It wasn't.
No, it wasn't. That horse was like, no, it didn't come for a while. But that's awesome. I can feel that. Like immediate positive reinforcement. That's just that propels you in such a big way in life. That's awesome. So you just kept it going, huh?
Yeah. I always was like. Made sure I had art classes in high school, and then of course that was my major in college. Commercial design is what they called it back then.
Wow.
But it was, it was art.
Prior to getting to all this, like when you first start out, like what kind of art were you into?
Just drawing.
Just drawing anything?
Just drawing. I mean, I would just like look at stuff and copy it or make up stuff. So
Nature, like superheroes.
Superheroes, comic books.
Nice.
Eddie Van Halen, of course,
Oh, yes.
drawing it.
Okay.
Bruce Lee.
That's so. Oh man,
You know,
that's so awesome, man.
Conan
See,
the Barbarian.
that's so rock and roll, man. That's
Yeah.
totally rock and roll.
Oh, I've got pictures of Ozzy and Randy and Eddie and who else? I mean,
Yeah, you're a rock
Led
artist.
Zeppelin
I love that. See, you got to share
yeah.
some of that with me.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that stuff is deep in the archives. Might be at my parents' house.
Probably won't have time to edit those in, but we will. No. We will. Kyler brought some of his art with him today, and the ones that he didn't bring with him, that he mentions, we're going to pop up here on the screen because my man, that you can't see here, the evil Ron, Sludge Master General, Coy, he's got it going on for us. So, man. Let's get into the progression of your art then.
Sure.
So you're doing the rock artist, you're in art, but outside the rock vibe, what we doing? Anything else? Superhero stuff? Anything in particular?
Are we talking about art?
Outside of those kind of realms.
Not really. Okay. You know, I mean, portraits, I should say.
Oh, okay.
No, I did a lot of portrait art when I was younger. I would just draw. You know, like my mom or whoever.
And these were pencil drawings?
Mostly, yeah.
Mostly?
Yeah.
Then
I dabbled in paints, some when I was in high school. You know, here I kind of dabble with them like every now and then. I don't pull them out that much. But
water or oil?
Oils.
Oils, okay.
Or like pastels or gouache.
Okay.
Like really it's just a lot of pen and ink, pencil.
So this is all up towards when you went to school and turned to the digital world, right?
Right. So like, you know, when you're in college, at least they kind of make you do everything, like even sculpture and stuff. So you kind of like they want you to get immersed, you know, in all these different media,
which is wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah. So you learn a lot of that. You learn different ways to draw, like, you know, like how they would tell you how Picasso would draw, right? You know, and set up a still life, and then you would have to move around a room. They would give you like 3 minutes to draw what you see, and then you had to stop and you move to another chair and start over.
Amazing.
Keep doing that, and by the end of the class you've got a abstract drawing, but you can tell what it is because you're drawing just parts of it from different angles.
That's so amazing.
You know, it opens up your mind way to look at things differently.
Thanks for sharing that, brother.
Yeah.
That's really cool, man. That's
little things like that, you know, kind of spur your creativity.
Yeah, I would imagine, you know, even things that wouldn't be appealing to an artist so much in the end, you know, going through some, you know, that experience is beneficial at the end, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
I've played in bands before where, you know, like Super Junior Original, like I'm a lead guitar player, you know. That band, I've always prided myself by being in that band because like there's 0 leads. And the most I ever did was like make noise, you know. It was strictly like hardcore and punk. Rhythm.
Right.
So it's just kind of like another facet, you know, of art, you know. It's not entirely everything. It's just
get outside of what you're, you know, comfortable with, and attack it from another angle.
Right, and then just put that one on the shelf, or I haven't done that, been there, done that.
Right.
Thank God it's over, kind of thing. So tell me, man, about the digital transition. So you're doing like you're passionate about what you do. So you're doing pastels and oils and pencil drawings.
Mainly pencils and pen and ink. You know, the pastels was very short-lived. You know, not a lot of it. I don't have a lot of it. You know, it's more just like illustration type stuff. When I say illustration, just like drawing. You know, and the color really didn't come in until I got out of college. Started working at print shops.
Oh wow!
You know, so I'm really more of a print artist.
Okay.
Because like from my early 20s, once I got out of college, I'm working at print shops where we're printing magazines, and then on to screen printing, doing T-shirts, and then of course on to posters and stuff.
Great.
So you learn it's a trade. You learn the printing end of it, and we become a production artist for it, and you know, the color came back in, right?
Got you.
You know,
I wanted to know about the creative process of it, when it became, you know, like you know, the tools that you use on the computer and stuff like that. Where the transition?
So there was a transition.
So there's, you know, or it was half and half sometimes.
the creative end of it, they could come from, myself or customers, right? And you try and interpret and render what they are trying to get you to, to do, their ideas, right?
Sure. I mean, we personally had that experience with you.
Right.
We talked on the phone back and forth on poster ideas.
But working as a print artist, you have to do that every day. And so, like, when I started working at screen print shops in Houston, there was a big shop in the 90s that I worked at for a long time called Carousel. We had a lot of customers from all over, from churches to high schools to doing stuff for MTV. I mean, we were doing stuff for Headbangers Ball.
Nice.
And, Beavis and Butthead.
Nice.
And all that stuff. Now, we weren't creating that stuff. We were doing the production end of it. But it was all helpful because we learned how to design for printing, or do color separations for printing and stuff. So you're kind of forced to do it, especially with like the day-to-day, like high schools and, that kind of stuff. They, customers would tell you what they want, and then you have to try and, like, here, is this what you want? Draw it out, design it. But during that time, in the 90s, is when we made that transition from doing everything by hand to computer. Now, we had computers, but we were still doing a lot of stuff by hand. Like, we would draw a black line, and you're on your light table drawing, pen and ink, but we were airbrushing as well for T-shirts.
Okay. That's a whole different art.
You're totally.
Yeah.
And so that was all part of the process too. So our sketches, we used to do our sketches in color. We used magic markers, and we would have an airbrush set up to it, and we had this little tool that would you would put your marker in, that would blow the ink onto the paper. So you're not actually having to use airbrush paint all the time because you're working fast, And we transitioned. I feel real lucky to have that transition period from doing everything by hand. I don't know if you've ever heard of this, cutting ruby lith and amber lith.
No.
Yeah, it's a whole screen printing thing.
Okay.
I was there. We used to do the stack camera type stuff where you draw a black line. Ron's over here shaking his head. He knows what I'm talking about. You would draw a black line, go into the dark room, take a picture with a stack camera, and that's your black line, but it's on film, right? Then you've got your amber lith and ruby lith, and you will go cut out everything with an X-Acto blade, and that's your color separations.
Oh, wow.
Right? Then the transition happened with the computers, and I'm speaking mainly of Macs here. And you learn Photoshop, and Photoshop was real similar to the way you do, if you could kind of grab your head around it with masks. I always said Photoshop was like a digital airbrush program, because you've got masks and you're working in masks all the time. And so we learned that, we had that transition and we learned it. I feel real lucky to have learned it at that time.
Right.
Because I look at people my age now and they're still trying to catch up.
Right.
So I'm real fortunate to be there right when it was happening.
Yeah, man. And you've done very well.
Well, thank you.
You've done very well, and I want to jump right into all your art. And prior to that, let's talk about just how our relationship as friends began. And then I don't know if you brought the posters with you, or
I've got some. I'm not sure which one you might be referring to, but
well, Kyler's done a few posters for myself, Heavy as Texas, and when I was with Philip H. Anselmo and the Illegals, he did 2 epic posters. By the way, they're all epic. A few of them glow in the dark.
Yeah.
There's hidden secrets inside of them. So it's truly an absolutely piece of art. And everything he's done since then, he's done posters for Soundgarden, Anthrax, Heavy as Texas, and Death Angel played his show, and he made this kick-ass posters for that Anthrax asked us to bring down. And Metallica, just
Black Sabbath.
Black Sabbath, dude. And just most recently, and you've done many more, I know you have, because I got them up on my wall. most recently you did the recent Pantera
The
poster.
Pantera.
I mean, and then right before that you did the recent Mastodon poster with Gujira.
Gojira.
You ever had them sandwiches, Gujiras? Yeah.
Done
And-
plenty. Those guys have been good to me.
Yeah, man. So
Mastodon guys.
I'm just like brushing the surface here.
Yeah.
You want to just bust some out?
Sure,
And then you
sure.
go ahead and tell us the rest, man.
So, well, like you and I, our relationship, like I knew about you long before we ever met personally. Like when your Need album came out,
Oh, okay.
I had a CDR version of it.
Okay.
Because a buddy of mine went and saw you play, came back and was like, "Man, y'all got to see this guy Marzi," you know. And he had the CD, and I just burned a copy of it, you know.
Cool, man.
And so I had that for years. Then I saw you one night playing, and it was on New Year's Eve. This was, I don't know, man. This must have been like 13 years ago or so.
Where at?
BFE,
Nice.
okay?
Yeah, it was a night that I don't remember.
Yeah,
It was
you
epic.
you played forever
Oh, cool.
because they left the place open
Oh, nice.
because it was New Year's Eve.
Right.
And so like they stayed open until like 3 o'clock or something.
Oh, nice.
And you were playing forever.
Cool.
And you were playing your Les Paul mainly.
Yeah.
And I think I had you on Facebook, right? But it was when I did the Soundgarden poster, the first one, and I showed it to you, and then we ran into each other at the Rat show.
Oh, yeah. Which Soundgarden poster?
The one
there's
with
like I have two back-to-back.
the one with the Indian chief and the
With this
wolf.
White smoke. Yeah. White
No,
smoke.
no. That was the first one I did. You have that one. That would be the one with the 9 Inch Nails show at the Woodlands. The
Okay.
first one I did was actually for a St. Louis show,
Oh, right.
and it was an Indian chief, real psychedelic.
I
looking
have that
poster.
one right next to it.
The wolf.
But
With
that
the
Indian Chief with the wolf
with
is
the wolf.
actually bigger poster.
It's
than
a bigger one.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I have them back to back. I mean, yeah,
I
next
showed
to
you
each other
that
on my wall.
one.
It's so
And
crazy cool.
then that's when y'all had just finished recording the first Illegals album.
Correct.
And that's kind of how, you opened that door for me, so I'm very thankful to you for that. With all the stuff that I did with Phillips bands, with you, and everything that kind of like came after that,
Yeah, it's just the universe wanted us to meet,
Mhm.
and then all that.
So yeah, we first
I love
met at House of Blues at a Rat concert.
dude.
And then we ended up backstage, or not backstage, but what did they call it? Place, the room upstairs, the Peacock room,
Foundation.
Foundation.
Yeah, Foundation.
Okay.
Like right, they're like yeah, and Bobby Blotzer is like
Bobby.
an uncle to me, and I will say this, man. I mean, you might if you remember, I remember this vividly. That show, that particular show, they had Carlos Cavazos,
Mm-hmm.
and they had the original lineup, and 14 Martini, man.
Warren met
You know.
Warren that night.
Bro, that was one of the best sounding concerts
Oh,
at the House of
it's-
Blues. I've seen many bands
Yeah.
at House of Blues, but that was one of the best sounding concerts.
No, they
there.
sounded
And
great.
Bobby noticed it, and he was mentioning it too. He was like, "This really sound like that," and because apparently it sounded that way all around, on
Mhm.
stage and off stage, and it really was. Man, what a show!
That was a great show.
And we were back there hanging out with.
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, I got my picture with Bobby and everything.
That's so
Yeah, I
awesome.
met Warren, Steven. I think I met all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where you and I first met, which was now it's over 10 years ago.
Yeah, initially said, like met in person.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And you're like, you need to do something for the Illegals. I'm like, okay, let's do it.
Yeah, the Legals poster that he did was just so amazing, glow in the dark, with like images done in lightning, but yet our names, me, Philip, Steve, and Blue, our names being,
Within-
subliminally put it in where you could look for it. And I thought that to myself, that's like, growing up in Houston, art, poster art was really, big, excuse me, late 80s and in 90s too. I forget, opposite.
It really took off again in the early 90s.
Yeah.
Late 80s, early 90s. Thanks to guys like Frank Kozik, rest in peace. He coming out of Austin turned everything around again and made it huge. And then you had guys like Derek Hess, Chris Cooper, Coop. All those guys were like right there in the '90s when all the rock started getting big again, and they were the guys.
Who was the cat that would use the like a doll? I think it was like a different
Raleigh Franco's
different versions of it. You remember with the pin doll? He did the Houston Palooza posters and things like that.
It could have been Jermaine Rogers.
Okay.
Jermaine, because Jermaine's a Houston guy. He's a big,
Jermaine sounds familiar.
yeah. You know,
Cool.
and like again, talking, you know, doors opening, whatever. I got to do Alice in Chains because of Jermaine.
Oh, nice.
You know, he's like, you want to do it, Alice in Chains? I'm like, of course. You know, let's do it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But Jermaine's, he's a big name.
Uncle somebody or
Uncle Charlie.
Yeah, Charlie.
Another Houston guy. Uncle Charlie had a lot of stuff
Yes, sir.
in the mid to late '90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you rank right up there, man. And then
I came a little bit after those guys, though.
You did, but currently you're the prominent man.
Yeah,
You-
well, you know, okay, whatever. I'm not.
Well, you know what I mean by that is like, when a Pantera comes through town, that is a big show. Okay, Mastodon,
Sure.
that is a big show. Black Sabbath, that is a big show. That's what I mean. I mean, Heavy's Texas, we were like little minnows, and you killed that poster, man. I love that poster. And the first one he did of me was it kind of implemented the High Priest of Distortion
Oh,
kind
yes.
of thing. It's
Yes,
the High Priest of
yes.
Distortion, and it's got, you used lightning again,
Yeah.
glow in the dark, and I love it, man. You put the robe on me and everything, and I had nothing to do with it. I mean, since then we maybe have talks about little knickknacks, which is you communicate so well with it. But man, bust them out.
Oh,
man.
okay.
Bust them out. So anyway, friendship-wise, while you bust them out, I will say it's been a pleasure knowing you, and you've been
same
this
here,
solid rock, man. Amongst other friends that I have, and that I've sustained to have throughout my life, because a lot of them come and go. You've been one of those that's just maintained to be,
appreciate it.
cool dude. Kind of like Doug Pennick or something.
Right.
Doug's been such a great, beautiful friend of mine. When he comes
He's a
through
great
town,
guy.
I need to do an interview with him.
Absolutely.
So, dude, this is the first time I actually get to see this one.
So yeah,
in
this will be
person.
the very latest
The
one
very latest one.
for the Pantera show. You can find out.
Nice. I'll
That-
hold it up like this.
That one.
Should I do it like this? Should I do it like that? Should I do it like this? Right there in the middle by 11-inch beard.
We printed that here in Houston at Lady Lazarus Fine Printing.
Lady
Lazarus Fine
Lazarus. Okay.
Printing. That is a 5-color screen print, 18 by 24. So yeah, that is the very latest one. Actually, you know what? It's not the very latest one.
Oh wow.
King Parrot.
Oh yeah. King Parrot, y'all. King Parrot from Australia. They're like, if you don't know King Parrot, please go and check out King Parrot right now. Check out like Shit on the Liver. Check out that video. Check out everything else. They're funny and they're ferocious.
Ferocious.
And they're coming
Very
to town.
ferocious.
They're coming to town
In a month.
in about a month.
Yeah.
So
At the
this
end of
episode will
September.
probably air prior to that. So hey, catch them whenever the fuck they come. And the posters are opening up for them.
Oh, they are?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. Yes. So stoked for that.
Very cool.
Oh, look at this.
So yeah, so that's that was the Houston show one.
All right. I got some to drink. Right here.
And then this is actually not a screen print. This is a lithograph / offset print for the Indiana show, the Pantera one.
This is fucking killer. This
So
is
that one we did right before this one.
And this is like worlds apart in design, dude.
Yeah, I mean,
I love this one. I love both of them. But this is really cool, man.
Story is I had this one done months ago,
Okay.
art-wise,
Mm-hmm.
and collections
For the band?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The Collections is the merch company that's doing all their posters. Like a lot of those posters that we did last year, Elton John and Motley Crue and all that, was through Collections. And they said, "You want to make this one for Indiana?" I'm like, "No, I want this one to be for the
Houston.
Woodlands.
Oh, nice.
Oh, let me just design an Indiana
Oh,
poster."
wow, okay.
And so they're like, "Okay, go ahead, do it."
Do you start everything from scratch, or
Yeah.
do you Okay, I was wondering
didn't have-
if you ever have like oh, my bad, baby. If you had like leftovers, that you're.
Very rarely, but like with that one, I'd start up from scratch.
Yeah.
You just come up with an idea you think it's going to work for the fan base. You know what I mean? Sometimes bands management will have strict do's and don'ts. You know, there were a few with Pantera, but not, you know, just like, don't do something that's been done for the last 25 years, right? So you try and stay away from cliche type stuff all the time. You know, while the Houston one, the Woodlands one, it was a panther skull for Pantera. You know, instead of doing like a regular human skull or whatever. You know, let's do something a little bit different. Here's one for the last time Mastodon played Houston, actually out in the Sugar Land.
This goes to show you the diversity of your art, because this is like quite different, like worlds apart from the rest of them. And
I wanted to be funny, you know, but still be like, you know, metal.
It's awesome.
Like
and
bright.
It fits them.
Yeah.
It fits them. It fits them. You know, this is killer, man. Does this one, is this glow in the dark?
No, it's day glow inks, and I do not have any glow ink on that one. So, but you throw a black light on that thing and it screams.
So I want to talk about the second poster you did for the Illegals. So at this point, the wanted poster, we'll probably put a little. I'll find it online and we'll put.
I'll send them to you.
Pachow! Okay, cool. We'll put it on. Pachow! I just want to do that. We'll do that. We'll put it up here, and you can take a look at it. And man, when I first saw it, dude, I was just so.
Y'all were in Dallas.
We were in Dallas playing in the trees.
Right.
And you came up there and you brought them.
No,
and I remember.
No.
Yeah, you didn't bring them. Yeah.
No, I didn't bring them.
Oh well, whatever. But they were like.
They were sent up there.
They were sent up there.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you didn't show up.
Not for that show.
Okay.
I mean, I was at the Houston show.
Well, I don't remember any of this. I just remember that poster being introduced in Dallas.
Yep.
Whoever brought it, when I first saw it, for one, size-wise, it's huge. It's very big. It's
24 by 36.
Yeah, and real.
It's
hard
double the
stuff.
size of these.
Double the size, and it was like a wanted. You know, like
an old school Western wanted
poster. And it had it had me, Philip, again, Steve and Blue.
Mm-hmm.
But then it had writing underneath of why we were wanted. And it was, and is so fucking clever, man.
Thank you.
It was so freaking awesome. Poster-wise, it's like, not just cool art, but you went above it, because that's one of my favorite posters.
Thank you. Yeah, with that one, I if you read them, and I don't even remember, I'd have to read it myself. I wanted to come up with
it's awesome, like
old,
Philip, aka the Kid,
right?
You know,
the
and all the
nicknames and stuff. Yeah. But I wanted to come up with the stories of why you guys are wanted, but I wanted it to be funny.
It was funny,
but I also wanted to use.
And it had a lot of our personalities in it.
I also wanted to use terminology that would have, rather sayings that they would have used at the turn of the century.
Right.
So there's a lot of that in there too. If you read it, there's a lot of when was this written?
Right.
Kind of, you know what I mean?
Right.
But it's funny.
It is.
I just wanted to be funny because
I gotta go back and read.
You gotta go back and read it
to see if any of it foreshadowed, like the events that were to come. That would be freaking hilarious, man. That would be so hilarious. No, seriously, I'm looking forward to that, because it's funny how things happen. Like with this band. This band, initially, you made the first poster for this band, and it wasn't this. I'm gonna talk about that. I am probably gonna find a clip of it, and then please send that to me too.
Mm-hmm.
We were asked, Heaviest Texas, which was just me as a 3-piece at the time. We're asked to open up a show in Shreveport, where I had seen Pantera first gig with Philip.
Oh yes.
When he first joined the band, a long time ago, and it was Death Angel and Anthrax, and it was asked us to open up, and I was done singing because I wanted to get it to a point where I was playing more complex guitar parts and blah blah blah. I called Kyle Thomas, man.
Kyle in there,
and Kyle had never rehearsed with us. We didn't practice. I just sent him 6 songs. I remember seeing him, me and him at the hotel, and he was there with his friend that I called Hagrid, David. And it was totally awesome, man. So how's it going, man? He was just chill dude, man. I liked him right off the bat, man. And then we went and played that show, and then it was so crazy because when I did Heaviest Texas again, part 2, we played on the same date, like September, whatever. And and that poster was just it's epic.
It's the tall, it's
a tall, skinny poster.
The tall, skinny when they call those telephone pole posters.
killer poster. And it's because it was in Louisiana. It had like a voodoo queen type thing on it.
Totally.
And it had our names on it. And
a lot of blue and red, had silver metallic ink as well on that one. Screen
I
print.
actually, believe it or not, don't have one.
You don't?
Well, my posters went vanishing. So I don't have one of those. I have everything else that you have, which is wonderful. Again, my whole wall is, my whole wall in my room is your art.
Thank you.
And so, post all this. I'm doing all the talking now, man.
No, that's okay.
You
Please.
did this guy.
That was specifically for you, for Heaviest Texas. We also made that a T-shirt.
Yeah, and the shirts glow in the dark. All the outlines go in the dark.
That was a screen print. That's
it's so killer. I mean, there's a lot of detail in Kyler's work, and this particular one, like the Mastodon one, I couldn't. There's so much going on. This one, I remember you put the Texas ring on
the
here,
ring.
the snake biting it, and you got the hold of the guy when he's biting it. It's just it's meaningful. It's got my signature right there, Texas Stars, and it's just killer, man. It's so killer. I love this thing so much. And I love red and black too. Like I love really like the color scheme on it.
Now I brought this one because this one me and my buddy Tony Kalin printed by hand.
Oh wow!
At his shop.
You did it.
Tony did the printing.
Oh, Tony did the printing.
Well, I helped him, but he did the printing. And you've met Tony.
Yeah.
With the dreads.
Oh yeah.
And you were at the show, I believe, right?
Oh yeah.
Right?
And somehow we were at House of Blues smoking right in the front of your booth.
This wasn't at the House of Blues.
Oh, okay. Where?
This was the warehouse.
Oh, okay, okay.
You were there? I think so.
Warehouse Live?
Yob and Voivod?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Okay, anyway. I was grabbing it because this one, it's a screen print that we did by hand for that show, and I want to say you were there. I think I saw you there.
Voivod.
Voivod.
The last Voivod show.
Not the last one.
Okay.
No, this one was done a few years ago. But
Maybe.
that one, yeah, you were there. I remember seeing you there. But that one, that one works well as a, put some 3D glasses on.
Oh, dude.
It works really well as a 3D. A lot of them actually,
and I love the mirror image, man.
A lot of the
so cool,
a lot of the ones with the bright day glow inks do well with 3D glasses, but that one in particular does really good with 3D glasses.
That's insane, man.
I know you were at this show because we were probably at all the ministry shows together.
So something about ministry is like my friendship with actually Caesar. And since that very day, I put him down, like he was right on top of me because we were trading numbers, and I put him down as Caesar Minestrone. And so I've been calling ministry Minestrone. So my friend, he is a beautiful soul, man.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
And my friendship with him has been so solid ever since then. And you introduced us, man. And it was at NAMM show. Do you remember?
Yeah.
You introduced me, and we were like,
oh yeah.
We were on the second floor. I know Caesar because of you. Caesar sent me some money, dude. Check this out.
That's one. Ministry is another band that's been really good to me. Let me do a lot of stuff.
This is insane,
that
bro.
one's 2018 tour.
And I will say this: these are all entirely different in style from one another, man. So you got to keep reinventing yourself. They don't look the same. Color schemes are different, and the art is quite different, man. I mean, you can tell it's you, though.
Ministry. I just make sure I ask. I get Al's permission. Hey, you guys are coming to Houston. Let me do the show. The last one was in Austin.
What year was this one?
2018.
Yeah, I was at this one.
Yeah, you were there. You were there.
I got sucker punch.
Yeah. The last one I did was for the Austin show. They didn't come to Houston on the last tour, which was I don't know 5-6 months ago.
Yeah,
maybe not even that.
They played Austin.
They played Austin.
But you did the art for that.
Yes. Did the art for that one. So I just make sure
So that's another one you're gonna send me, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we're gonna insert that one over here.
Insert that one. So yeah. Ministry, like I said, the Mastodon guys have been really good. Another band that was always really good was POD.
Oh, nice.
Those guys are really good to me. I've done a lot with POD, and because of POD,
they're big Houston roots, huh?
They do.
And like fan-wise and friend-wise and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Type
Great, super nice guys. And because of those guys was the connection to Anthrax.
Oh, killer.
Yeah, because it's the same manager. So this one that I'm about to show you is not a show poster or a tour poster. It's for a local cover band, Rusted Cage. Okay. And they wanted a screen print.
They're the Beatles tribute band, right?
Exactly right. You got it. Good guess.
Yeah.
But
I love that song, Satisfaction.
Yeah,
Sorry,
they did come together. So there's that.
So this band I've longed to actually see. It's a Houston cover band that does, obviously Alice in Chains, and let's go. Let's go check them out.
Okay.
If you go to check them out, I love Alice in Chains. I think it's the last greatest rock band, American rock band to have come. Opinion.
When I've done a couple for Rusted Cage, right?
Dude, this is so awesome.
And this was the last one I did. Now, with Soundgarden, I did several with Soundgarden early on, 10 years ago, and then several with Chris on his solo stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I've got several.
Okay, the Cornell poster, man.
Yeah.
Rest his soul. We're going to put that in here.
Soundgarden were big for me. And Chris as well.
I know.
I've done a lot of posters for those guys and him. With the Rusted Cage guys, they were just like, this was the second one I did. The first one was that blue one of Chris with the.
I've never seen this one.
Oh, you haven't?
No.
So I specifically with this one wanted to do something very loose looking and very early '90s with the print feel. And if you look, I even have it like where it's purposely like bleeding across. The yellow bleeds into the red. That's a very kind of old school look, and this total fucking godhead was something that A&M Records ran with promoting Soundgarden in the early days. It was like on all their posters to promote at the record stores and their t-shirts. And being that this was a cover band poster, you don't want to use any names, right? So I thought, this will be a throwback, and real fans will know, like, total. Because this was on T-shirts, the type, and then in the front it would have Soundgarden. So that's why I did it. That was such a great image of Chris, and you can actually find this image online, and I just redrew it, but it was of a Washington Lollapalooza concert, and they might have been playing Rusty Cage or something. But there's actually video of him when he's jumping off of Matt's drum riser, and he's like, but that a photographer off the side caught that image, and I'm like, that's such a great image. I got to redraw that.
I remember these guys at Lollapalooza. I remember, like,
I was there.
Up front, mud, jumping up and down, like the entire time. I was like a springboard, and I couldn't take my eyes off the rhythm section, man. I was that close. Good. I was close enough to be like, going, what in the world? I was having a good time. I was having a good time. And then I saw them, and I probably have this poster. I actually have that poster on my wall. When they played this old Kroger in Houston called the Unicorn. And
Frank Kozik did that poster.
Yeah.
That is a highly collectible expense if you find them now.
Actually, I don't have that.
I got one too.
I don't have the actual poster. But believe
it was in magazines and everything.
Yeah,
it was reprinted like
million times. I got it off of Guitar World.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. With the lady with the tattoos.
Correct. And it was
Soundgarden, Pearl Jam.
Soundgarden, Pearl Jam, man. I mean to tell you, man, that show was absolute.
Off the chain.
Both bands.
MTV was there.
Yeah, there was actually. Who was the opening?
Swerve Driver, Monster Magnet, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden.
Bro, y'all hear that? Monster Magnet.
I'd never seen or heard of Monster Magnet. I was an instant fan of those guys after that night. Yeah. All their stuff was duct taped together, and they were just tearing it up.
Let me ask you something. If I'm not mistaken, Pearl Jam went next, correct?
Soundgarden closed the night.
Correct.
It was Swerve Driver, Monster Magnet, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden.
And then Eddie Vedder did the whole,
climbing the rafters.
He was hanging off.
And he dropped into the crowd.
And it was just an amazing. I mean, just the sound
MTV
was
was
so
there.
amazing. And then Soundgarden got on, and their set was absolute fire. Then they started getting real big, and believe it or not, I saw them here in Houston Coliseum, which is kind of, Houston Coliseum is kind of rather big. And it was, man.
Was it too big of a venue?
Too big, man. And
At the time?
they were just like, didn't need to be in
In a smaller,
more intimate setting, and it was just like a lame show.
Hmm.
It wasn't
I
a
didn't see that show.
band, but it was just like, it was just.
It was too big.
Yeah.
A few years later, of course, then the crowds got bigger, and that's when it's better.
That's a band you want to be up close
Right.
and enjoy.
Exactly. I worked security at that show.
Which one?
At the Unicorn.
Oh yeah, you've told me about this.
Pulled Chris back out because of Eddie's antics. Before them, not to be outdone, they came out and opened with "Searching with My Good Eye Closed," and during that long jam session, Chris throws his guitar down and jumps out in the crowd.
In the beginning.
The very beginning, very first song. And he body surfed to the back of the venue, all the way to the front, and we pulled him out of the crowd, and I always sit him back up on stage by his ass. It was so crazy. Met the guys afterwards, backstage. MTV was there. It's like, you can find all that stuff on YouTube.
That song and that band were on fire at the time. Man.
They had just finished the tour opening for Guns N' Roses.
They are
And we
so
saw
amazing,
them at the
man.
Summit, not even a year before. It was like in 91 at the Summit with Guns N' Roses, and then 92 at the Unicorn.
Out of the Seattle bunch, man, Chris was just so damn amazing, man.
Great
and then that
songwriter.
band, great. Such
of course, the voice,
rhythmically, and then the chord voicings that he used were like not normal, man. He was his own thing, And then I always call him like the modern Robert Plant kind of thing.
Sure.
But then Alice in Chains, I had friends that worked at Southwest Wholesale where they would get promo albums and stuff like that. At the time, there was no internet. They would get it way in advance, So I would be hanging out with these guys, Bart St. John, rest in peace, and his clan, and then he goes, check out Facelift,
Oh yeah, man.
And it was amazing, and I saw them on that tour, and they opened up for Extreme.
That's
and
right.
After
That's
Dark
right.
But the time after
That's
that,
right.
they played Monsters
The
of
Monster
Rock
with Anthrax, Megadeth, and
Slayer.
Slayer.
Right.
Yep.
And these guys were first, and I'll never forget it, because I'm not like hang out in the concession lines. I'm not that dude. I was sitting down, and these dudes started playing, and all the lights were on. And I thought maybe it was like line check, sound check, but they were playing. They began their set. I think they played a full 2 songs before they dropped the lights, and everybody went, ah. And I don't know why or how, but I just thought that was the coolest thing in the world, man. They were like, they didn't give a fuck, man.
Right? No, they didn't.
And they were
They earned their
just
cred.
freaking, they did.
They
dude.
earned
They
their
were
cred on that tour.
amazing, and man,
I'm
so fortunate.
People would throw stuff at them. And
Another band that I was fortunate to see at Lollapalooza, I think it may have been that same at dusk. It was Alice in Chains, man. Did you see them at Lollapalooza?
Yes, I did see that one. That was like
Different
a year or two later.
And
from
Jerry
90
brought his dad on stage before they did the Rooster.
Yep.
Because they're Houston residents.
Yep. That was with, I want to say that was with Metallica.
No.
Primus?
Not
Rage
Primus.
Against the Machine.
Rage Against the Machine.
Tool.
That's right. And Tool.
Who headlined?
Ice Cube was there. Headlining Red
No,
Red Hot
Ice
Chili
Cube was the
Peppers.
90.
No,
That was with Soundgarden,
Oh,
Ministry,
yeah, okay.
and Chili
I'm getting
Peppers.
my Lollapaloozas mixed
Yeah.
up because obviously it was the 90s.
Now, I went to a few of them,
You know.
but the 92 one's the first one that I made, which I remember because it was Ice Cube, Lush.
I was there for the Ice Cube one.
Yep. Ministry.
Yeah.
Remember where they brought Kim Thiel back out and they did Supernaut?
No.
Yeah. Ministry did Supernaut.
By the time
Kim
like,
came out
Ministry
like,
had come out, I will tell you this, okay? It's part of my past. I'm not ashamed of it. I was tripping balls, man, and I wasn't accustomed to Ministry, so their visuals was kind of messing me up at the time of my trip.
Yeah.
So I was just kind of just wanted to be kind of like chilled out by myself. So I was like sat on the grass way apart from the stage, right?
Right.
But they had these mini pits erupted everywhere, right? So I stayed away and I was like sitting down there when people were going over me with like full momentum, like running. I was like, mother, I was just
Yeah.
like not having a good time. So
I was
at that
really
point,
trying
at that
to get
point,
close
but
to the
when
stage.
when Soundgarden was like a religious experience, but ministry
Pearl Jam.
though,
Remember Pearl
let me
Jam came
tell you,
on?
dude,
They played on that Lollapalooza
they
as
were
well.
great too. They were great too. And ministry
Ministry-
has always been like 100. Like they don't like, you know what I mean? It's like listen to the record.
Yeah.
They don't miss, man.
Yeah.
They don't miss. This is prior to No and Caesar and all this stuff. This is like another.
It was a different lineup though back then.
Man, I wonder if that was Mike Scascia playing.
Yes, he was in the band.
God rest his soul.
Yep.
Man.
Mike
Scascia,
was
Texas
in the band.
legend guitarist
Yep.
that played with
Rigor Mortis.
Rigor Mortis, man,
And then Ministry.
and then Ministry.
Yep, he was.
I
'cause
met
he
him
was
one time. He was a Gibson rep towards the end of his life, as well as a musician for Ministry.
Ministry.
I saw him actually play for Bruce's wedding. He played guitar and all that stuff, and Philip and I and all wives, not my wife, girlfriend at the time. We all went to the wedding, and it was awesome. And when I met him, man, he was just like right off the bat. He was like, I work with Gibson, man. If I can do anything for you, that was like his hello to me. I
right.
was like, who's this guy? He's so nice, Then he shredded on. He had a nice collection, and we contacted each other a couple of times back and forth. Unfortunately, he passed on stage on the Rail Club.
Yeah.
And
That,
him and Bruce are both gone. Rest in peace to both of them.
Yeah.
Man.
Bruce was a great guy.
Yeah, Texas legends.
Yeah. I did the very first Ministry poster. I did a little. You can see it with the lights are off.
Is this one of those moments?
Yes.
Okay, so you're gonna.
I'm gonna send them to you.
Yes.
But I have a picture of Mike on the very first Ministry poster. I
Oh,
did.
dude.
But it's hidden. But you see it because I had glow in the dark ink on that poster. So when you turn off the lights, especially if you put a black light on it, you can see Mike, and he's in it.
That sounds like his picking.
Yeah.
The dude had like
He's
it sounded like a
lightning
bumblebee,
fast.
man.
Yeah.
He's like, bro,
fast.
bro,
Super fast.
and consistent too.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, we lost a good one there.
Mhm.
It's like you're watching this, go back and check out Mike Scascia. You know what I'm saying? There's just some people on our friends list that never got to get. I mean,
Well, I
he
mean,
played for Ministry for
It
God's
was
sake.
yeah, and
But
he
I'm just
was
saying,
with
you know,
Ministry
never get-
and their biggest albums.
Yeah,
Those were their biggest albums, the albums that he was on.
yeah, I love those albums.
Yeah,
man.
just they're so over the top.
Yeah.
And
And
they're
for the
just
time that they came out in.
oh, totally.
Yeah.
They're untouchable. They're just like it's like
So when does King
Or-
Parrot come here?
the end of September. So it's like the last
So
day.
this episode is totally going to be out before then.
Okay.
I don't know if we're going to be able to I don't know. You're not going to bust it out till the show, right? Or have you done it already?
No, everybody's seen it because
Okay, well,
their first show.
We're having a. It's a Texas thing. It's well,
They played their first. They played New Orleans last night.
Yes, I
So
saw
they-
pictures
they-
of them.
They started their tour. Then they're going to meet up with Pantera and Weed Eater. I think they're doing it with Weed Eater, but they're hooking up with Pantera for some shows. So they're going to be doing the big shows
with Pantera on the big
on the
stage.
big ones.
Which I got to say, man, to Phil Anselmo and the Housecore record label, the thing that they're doing, getting this opportunity to do.
Oh, with Child Bite
to
and
doing the Pantera thing, on such a big stage, and
Oh, yeah.
and then what they do, what have
no,
done,
well, they're having all the housecore
all
bands.
the housecore bands
Come
catch
along with
like
King Parrot.
Snafu, yeah,
Yep.
and then King Parrot,
Child Bite.
Child Vibe, man, this is like great bands. Y'all got to check him out. These are great bands. He's got all of them like opening up 3 dates,
Mm-hmm.
giving those dudes an opportunity, which is insane. They get to play. I mean, yeah, I'd go on first.
Yeah.
I did that in Houston
Yeah.
once
Well,
for
it's
White
much shorter.
Zombie and what you call it? White Zombie and I almost said Nickelback, but it's same like that. That Soundgarden band. No, Alice in Chains band. What's it called? Godsmack
Godsmack.
at the Woodlands. And that was insane, man.
Mhm.
That was insane. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
What
They
time
get
of the
this
year?
opportunity.
It was so hot out there last week. It was brutal.
Yeah, man. I'm
It
glad I
was
didn't
brutal.
go.
It was brutal. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, this is not normal, man. I feel bad. I hope everybody was coming out of those
Everybody
shows
seemed to be
lately.
fine, yeah.
Temperature like today, and I was coming up here, it was 113, man. 113. Though, that's what my car said it was outside. You said it was 110.
It was 107 when I got here.
Yeah.
No, I said it's supposed to be 110. It's probably 110 right now.
Yeah, and then we went outside because we have to make sure everything's okay and safe. And then safe to me. It felt like walking into a sauna, dude.
Just walking in.
Yeah, walking into an oven. So what you got next? You got the King Parrot poster that we have already done that, but it's okay. We're gonna your turn. I mean, you gotta go.
Yeah. I've always got something in the works.
Absolutely, I always do. I've talked to you on the phone, and you're one of those cats that just like when he gets on a project, you just go. You don't even know what's going. You're like that coffee drinker, 24/7 kind of guy.
Totally.
Till the job is done.
Totally. Yeah. Well, you have to, because I mean, I'm working the day job at the print shop, which is not this stuff, and then the all the rock and roll stuff is like my freelance, but it's another job.
Where are some of the places online, like your social media, like name them out so people can hear the listeners, the radio listeners. I mean the viewers can check it out. Like, is there a particular poster shop, or do you have Kyler?
KylerSharp.com.
KylerSharp.com. Simple as that.
Simple as that. KylerSharp.com.
And you can purchase your art on there too.
Purchase if I have them.
If you have them for sale.
If they're not sold out, yeah.
What's so awesome about an artist like Kyler is like your numbers, poster artists like this.
Yeah, they
I've been
the collections like that.
I'm greedy. And I've asked for number ones in particular cases, and
everybody asks for number one.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody does.
Everybody
I have a few number ones, and then this guy right here, Mike Fortin. That's my drink right there in the middle by 11-inch beer. He also has given me some pedals that are like number ones. So between him and you, I feel what I mean. The journey in life is so. To both know you, and to be able to have art like that from you, it's like awesome, man.
Thank you.
Even if I didn't know you, I would have bought those posters and would have put them up in my room.
Oh well, I appreciate it. But really, you've opened some doors for me.
We were meant to be, man.
Yeah, and it's the more you meet, and the more your stuff gets seen. But I still will go out there, and I'm like, I will chase after bands or whatever.
Man, you do. Yeah. Sometimes it's like could be a Gajira's drummer trying to drink wine by himself. I'm trying to bust his balls, man. But hey,
that was a guitarist.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. They're all French.
I will do that.
So,
I said I will do that.
That's because, and then he's got such a good heart, He don't care, like if he.
So I want to do work for him.
He also
wants to work for bands.
He's a good guide. We went to go see Brent Hines after the Mastodon show. Brent, we tried twice to get on this show, and I showed up late, in Houston and Austin show, and Kyler got us there, barely. And when we did get there, we went to go to this club he had given us, like he said it was like 7 minutes away, and
I thought it was
somebody
walking.
forgot to tell Kyler that was 7 minutes of driving. So. Yeah, nothing like walking by the feeder in the middle of the freeway in Austin, Texas. I'll never forget that night.
We got that night.
We got that night, man. Kyler has, when I have really good dear friends, I do have a freaking nickname for him. So I have a nickname for him and a bust to this dude's balls all the time because it's just like, well, that's what friends do, man.
Mm-hmm.
Kyler, so KylerSharp.com, and you're on Instagram. You're on Facebook. All of them. And then, what is there those poster conventions you go to are so awesome, man, because there's so many of you guys, that are like so awesome. And you get to, and you got so much work. I don't think you can display all of your work, can you?
It's getting to where I can't, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's not uncommon.
But you're selective when
Yeah, because I'm there with so many other great artists, just like all the artists that do this kind of thing, the rock and roll, poster art.
I love that,
And-
man. It's so
but-
edgy, man.
The South by Southwest flat stock is what it's called. Now that's the only one I go to. A lot of the other artists that I know.
I speak dog. I think what she's about to ask you is, when is the next one? Is there one coming
It's
up?
always in the spring.
It's okay.
But flat stock, they'll have them all over. Now I only go to the ones in Austin. Just
Okay.
This is the ones I'm gonna make. In Austin. That's not a big deal.
I'm sure that in Austin is a pretty big one.
Yeah, because you're there during South by Southwest.
Oh, it's
you
during South by
South by
Southwest.
Southwest.
Okay.
So you're right there in the mix of all the bands
called
playing.
flat stock?
It's flat stock, meaning
Yeah,
paper,
that's totally
flat.
awesome, man.
Yeah, Frank Kozik was responsible, really, for getting a lot of that going
Nice.
back in the day,
Nice,
Uh,
nice.
'87 or whenever it was. I'm not even sure.
So it's still going on now.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. I have not been to South by
I did-
Southwest for quite some time myself.
I didn't go to the last. Well, the pandemic screwed it up for a couple years there,
Okay.
and I didn't go to the last one last year because I was too busy.
There's a film thing that happens
have a film?
prior to it, correct?
Yes.
Okay,
I met
but yours happens to fall
It's
inside the.
it's all the same time because
Oh.
it's in the Austin Convention Center.
Okay.
So like you're the hall, they have the flat stock in. It's just you go out in the convention center and you walk, and then they got the theaters set up. And I met Robert Trujillo,
Nice.
like my second flat stock there, right? And his wife Chloe. He was showing his movie that he made about Jaco Pastorius.
Oh wow, yeah.
I don't know if you remember that. It came out a few
Yeah,
years back.
yeah,
So
I have not seen it, but I totally even forgot about it. Thanks for
and
bringing that up.
I ordered it from them just because of that, and autograph and everything. But he was such a sweetheart, and I saw him, and I saw a guy that I met that bought some posters from me. And he goes, "There's Robert Trujillo's in there." I'm like, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah, he's promoting his movie about Jaco." I'm like, "Okay." So I waited like 5 minutes. Here he comes, And the thing was, is when I was walking out there, what caught my eye was this poster for the show. And it was done by his wife, Chloe.
Oh wow.
And she does all this really trippy, hippie kind of artwork, right? Very, very, psychedelic. And I was like, this is a cool poster. I dig it. What's going on, Jaco? Okay. And then here comes Robert and his wife, and I met him. And he's like, did you get to see the movie? I'm like, no, I was doing flat stock. I'm a rock and roll poster artist. He goes, oh, and he goes, well, come by tomorrow. And I said, what time is it? And he goes, at 4 o'clock. I'm like, I'm in flat stock. And he goes, oh, man.
Have you seen it since?
I bought it.
Oh.
Yeah. I bought the DVD. Yeah. They autographed it and everything.
This is something I got to do my homework.
Yeah. It's really good. Yeah, it's really good. But yeah, it was so neat meeting him. But when I told him I was a rock and roll poster artist, he goes, my wife's an artist. She did this.
Oh.
And I'm like, this is awesome. That's what grabbed my attention. I saw that, and then this guy told me you were in here, so I stopped. He was so nice, and his wife was very sweet. Both of them were just like really cool. But it was very touching that he went, my wife's an artist. Look, she does this.
That's totally beautiful.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I have to. I think I'm gonna go to the next one.
They're a lot of fun.
Yeah, South by Southwest may be too much for me, but man, the poster art. Oh.
Yeah, you can just go up there for the day.
That would be
They're
beautiful.
usually like from 11 o'clock to 6:30. Like I said, I didn't make.
Are you
last
doing
year.
it this year?
I'm probably.
Okay. Well,
I didn't do it last year because I was just too swamped.
yeah.
Because
But then I guess it all depends on what you got going on.
all
too,
what
also,
I got
right?
going on, because of all the big bands are touring again.
Yeah.
Everybody needed merch, and everybody wants posters.
Yeah, man. I've got to tell you, Kyler. Like some of his stuff. I'm so not surprised.
Last year was insane, and
but
this year
I'm
is
not
just as
surprised,
insane.
but I'm maybe by like surprised by the output of it. It's just like one artist after another, and then it's
There's a lot of them we all got to do.
It's become
a lot of
very
work.
rapid for you,
Yeah.
And so,
Well, it has to be if you want to do them. I missed out on a lot of cool bands. I'm not even going to say their names.
right.
That because I didn't see the email. Because you get so much, and then like a month later goes by, I'm like, you got this band wanted me to do this, and this, again, these are big bands, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I missed those emails.
You know, it's kind
You
of
know?
funny because, you know, this is all brand new for me, you know, doing interviews and highlighting, but I've actually had friends come through town and I've had the same event of going, oh man, you know, we could have sat down and done an interview.
Right.
But
Right.
that's when the ship passes, it sails. So.
Yeah, we got to catch back up with them though.
Kyler,
Yeah.
I got to tell you, man, it's a pleasure knowing you. I consider you a very, very great artist and
Right.
a beautiful human being.
Oh,
You know, I love you. That's
You
why I
love me
pick
too,
on you
dude.
so much. Y'all don't know, man. We'll do another episode on this driving. But hey, look, man. Thank you for being here.
Well, thank
I wish
you
you
for
all the
having me.
best. I'll be there in South by Southwest. I'm gonna insert all these artworks that you talked about. Thank you for bringing these posters.
Yeah, absolutely.
And showing your diverse artistic abilities, man. And thank you for being you, man. All the best to you,
Thanks,
Kyler.
Marzi.
Thanks again.
I appreciate it.
Love you, man.
Yeah, I love you too, man.
Right there in the middle, about 11 inch beard.